When you hear the name Leonardo da Vinci, what springs to mind? The genius of the Mona Lisa, the visionary engineer sketching helicopters, the pioneering anatomist mapping the human heart, a titan of the Renaissance painting on canvas and sculpting in bronze. But what if we told you there's a missing piece in this iconic picture? A dusty, forgotten chapter where Leonardo wasn't wielding a brush or a caliper, but getting his hands deep into wet clay and mastering the alchemy of fire. Welcome to the astonishing, largely overlooked world of Leonardo da Vinci, the experimental potter. Yes, the universal genius who explored everything also turned his relentless curiosity towards ceramics. This wasn't a casual hobby. During his crucial Milanese period, around 1490 to 1498, while serving the powerful Duke Ludovico Sforza, Leonardo actively practiced and innovated with clay. Forget the image of a detached philosopher. Imagine him in a workshop, sleeves rolled up, meticulously kneading earth, designing kilns, and obsessing over the perfect glaze. How do we know? The proof lies in his own words. In his famous letter of introduction to Ludovico Sforza, penned around 1490, Leonardo proudly lists his skills: painting, engineering, architecture, and crucially, works in clay. He placed his ceramic abilities his most celebrated talents. This wasn't an afterthought, it was a core part of his professional offering to the Duke. But Leonardo wasn't just making simple pots. His most ambitious ceramic venture materialized toward the end of his Milan tenure. The Domus Nazaria, or Nazaro project for Sforza's castle at Vigevano, conceived around 1498. This was no trivial decoration. Leonardo designed intricate majolica tiles, lusterware tiles, not just their artistic patterns, but the very kiln needed to fire them. He meticulously planned the structure, the airflow, the heat control, engineering the entire process. Documentary traces of this grand vision were unearthed centuries later in the archives of Gian Giacomo Treviso in Melazzano, offering us a ghostly outline of what might have been. For Leonardo, clay was far more than a craft material. It was a multifaceted laboratory. Think about it. He used malleable clay for sculptural maquettes and architectural prototypes, testing forms and volumes in 3 dimensions before committing to stone or bronze. Leonardo obsessively studied how different clays shrank, warped, and reacted during drying and firing, fundamental knowledge for durability. Catalogs of colors and finishes, scientific proof of his systematic approach. The fundamental bedrock skill underpinning larger sculptural and even pictorial endeavors. So why is Leonardo the Potter such a ghost in history? Why are there almost no physical ceramic artifacts definitively attributed to his hands? 3 harsh realities conspired. 1. The Milanese ceramic catastrophe, 1499. The brutal French invasion that toppled Ludovico Sforza shattered Leonardo's world and his projects. The Nazaro tile project was likely destroyed mid-creation or lost in the chaos. War obliterated the tangible evidence. 2. The experimental vortex. Much of Leonardo's work lived in the realm of prototype and process. His focus was on solving the puzzle, developing the palette, perfecting the kiln, creating samples. He left behind sketches, notes, and trials as Sempio Centeso, not necessarily vast quantities of finished tableware. 3. The spotlight on titans. History naturally focused on the giant canvases, the intricate anatomical drawings, the fantastical machines. Ceramics, unfairly seen as mere craft, was brushed aside, a footnote eclipsed by his more monumental achievements. Yet, tantalizing fragments linger. Take the legend of the Blue Cup. A 17th century writer, Davario, recounted that Leonardo created a stunning clay cup in Milan, famed for its unusually brilliant cobalt blue glaze. It shattered, but shards were supposedly kept as relics for generations. Was this pure myth? Or a distorted echo of Leonardo's very real cutting-edge experiments with cobalt pigments? And then there's the poignant human detail. Scattered accounts suggest that failures in the kiln, cracked pots, ruined glazes, could move Leonardo to tears. This raw frustration reveals not just his perfectionism, but his deep, visceral passion for mastering this stubborn, transformative material. His tears humanize the Titan, showing the profound emotional investment he poured into these forgotten experiments. Leonardo da Vinci saw in a lump of clay what others dismissed as dirt, an infinite field for creative exploration and scientific inquiry. These forgotten ceramic pages tell a story of unrealized masterpieces, chemical quests, and dreams literally shattered by war. They illuminate, perhaps more vividly than any canvas, Leonardo's core creed: boundless curiosity, transforming the ordinary into a profound object of study and unexpected artistry. The grandest ghost of Leonardo's ceramic dreams was the Nazaro project. What astonishing technological secrets did he embed in his kiln designs? What visions adorned those lost tiles? In our next chapter, we journey deep into the archives to reconstruct Domus Nazaria and uncover the revolutionary techniques Leonardo da Vinci, the secret potter, sought to master. That ghost of Domus Nazaria haunts us still. But thanks to those fragile documents unearthed in the Treviso archives, we can step into Leonardo's workshop and glimpse his astonishing blueprint. This wasn't just tile making, it was ceramic engineering at its most audacious. Forget rustic kilns of the era. Leonardo envisioned a scientific furnace, a thermal cathedral. He didn't just sketch tiles, he drafted the very heart of the process. His design, scrawled in his characteristic mirror script, reveals meticulous calculations for heat distribution, airflow dynamics, and structural integrity. He planned multiple stacked firing chambers, likely separated by sophisticated baffle systems, a radical concept for controlling temperature gradients. Imagine the intense focus. Leonardo plotting air inlets, spiraculi, based on his studies of wind and water currents, and flue channels, fumaioli, designed for maximum draft efficiency, echoing principles from his furnace designs for cannon foundries. This kiln wasn't just for baking clay, it was a controlled inferno geometria, a geometric hell designed to achieve the precise, ultra-high temperatures needed for his most coveted goal: lustrous gold and ruby majolica. The tiles destined for the walls of Ludovico's castle in Vigevano were meant to be spectacular. Leonardo aimed for palettes hints at vibrant blues derived from cobalt, possibly explaining the blue cup legend, and complex greens using copper, all demanding the thermal precision his kiln promised. The patterns? Likely intricate interlaced knots, Vinci, heraldic motifs for Sforza, or even fantastical flora-fauna. Each tile a miniature testament to his merging of art and science. Such ambition, however, stood no chance against the brutal torrent of history. Around 1499, the meticulously planned Domus Nazaria collided with reality. French troops under Louis XII stormed Milan. Ludovico's Sforza fled. Chaos erupted. Leonardo, caught in the maelstrom, hastily packed his notebooks. His workshop for Vigevano, whether partially built, stocked with unfired tiles, or containing the revolutionary kiln itself, was almost certainly ransacked, burned, or simply abandoned to the elements in the ensuing violence and occupation. The documentary traces in the Treviso archives are heartbreakingly sparse. Fragments of contracts, material lists, kiln sketches, the charred bones of a project stillborn. No intact tiles bearing Leonardo's unmistakable hand have ever surfaced. His architectural transformation of Vigevano, meant to be crowned with these luminous creations, remained forever incomplete. This wasn't just physical destruction. It erased the potential masterpiece that would have showcased his genius in an entirely new, tangible dimension. So, what does Domus Nazaria tell us beyond its tragic demise? It reveals Leonardo as a pioneer of material science, applying his systematic, experimental rigor to an ancient craft. His kiln design anticipated modern principles of thermal efficiency and controlled atmosphere firing by centuries. His glaze chemistry was fearless exploration, and his vision treated the humble tile not as decoration, but as architectural alchemy, transforming walls into iridescent tapestries. The loss is profound, yet the fragments whisper of a mind that saw no boundary between the artist's studio and the alchemist's forge, the architect's plan and the potter's wheel. Domus Nazaria stands as a monument to unrealized potential, yes, but also to the sheer, relentless scope of Leonardo's curiosity. A curiosity that reached into the very earth and fire, seeking beauty through transformation. But the echoes of his ceramic quest didn't vanish entirely. That passion ignited sparks elsewhere. Where did Leonardo's fascination with transformation take him next? How did these fiery experiments in Milan forge unexpected links to his later masterpieces? Our journey continues as we trace the surprising, enduring legacy of Leonardo the Potter in his most famous works.